Hi, Julia Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to look at the brand new Harmony Blue Creative Pack from Sentimentally Yours, and we're going to make a beautiful card from it, and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to use it. And we're also going to be using a selection of dies as well to work with it. But obviously you could just use this as is and just, you know, cut things out with your trimmers or your scissors. You don't have to use dies, but obviously, you know, if you want to pretty them up, you absolutely can. So it's very, very flexible. There is a separate video on my channel showing you all the papers in the pack. So you can go and have a look at that for a closer look at each individual sheet. But so I'm not going to do that now. I will show you the front cover though, which is a snapshot of all the things that you do get in your pad. Sorry, it doesn't all fit. So you've got topper sheets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those, with sentiments on there. You've got toppers, tags, embellishments, all sorts of things in there. And you've also got 5 A4 background sheets, and obviously you can use those as card blanks if you want to, because this is 250 GSM, so it is a good card or construction weight. You know, you can use the plain areas for your flowers if you want to, obviously matte and layers. I would definitely gut them if you're using large dies for your backgrounds. I'd definitely cut some out of the centre. It is acid and lignin free. All the sheets are single-sided, which means you don't have the angst of choosing which side to use. In this particular set, the Harmony Blue, you've got 254 elements, so obviously that's once you've cut them all out. And instead of filling the front sheet with, you know, all these mini pics of what you're getting, Phil's actually put you a topper on the front cover as well, so that's the same weight as the rest of the pad. And within here you've got 24 A4 sheets, 2 sheets of 12 designs, as I said, 250 GSM, and it's nice smooth cardstock, so you can actually stamp on it and it'll take your inks beautifully as well. So as there's 2 sheets of each, you can have one to use, one to stroke if you can't bear to cut into them, and they are absolutely beautiful. So to start with on my card, in fact, and let's just tell you the new dies I'm going to use so you can make a list if you want to. So obviously we're using the Harmony Blue Creative Pack, as I've already said. We're also going to use the new deboss double stitched squares, which are a must-have, and there's stitching on the inside and the outside, so if you're making frames, that just gives you a more elegant look, a more professional look. We're also going to be using your Pretty Petals Cherished Blooms, and instead of using stamens, I'm going to use the Pretty Petals Darling Blooms in the centre. We're going to be using the Lovely Leaves, and we're also going to be using the new A6 Honeycomb die as well, I think. I haven't made my mind up about that. I've got a plan, but I might not go to plan. So to start with, I've selected this background sheet, this paper here. So I've selected that topper. And I've also selected from here, I've also selected this topper as well. And I've got a border as well, which is, I think it's this one. Might not be, yeah, it is that one. And I've also selected one of the little sentiments as well, which are from this sheet here. So chopped and changed through 1 or 2 sheets, and I've actually cut my flowers out of one of the background sheets. I've cut my flowers out of not that one. Hang on, let me show you so you know which sheet I've used. Yes, I've cut my flowers out of this this one here. But obviously you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You could just use a coordinating card. those to one side and grab what we've got here. So let's take my topper. So this is that topper, which was all one piece. But what I've done is I've actually used my trimmer and I've cut around the edge so it's nice and straight. But I've used one of the lovely new double deboss, not double deboss, what are they called? Sorry, deboss double stitch squares. Filling his names. And I picked one of those, not that one, pick this one. You get a lot of dies for your money here. Pick that one, and it does fit exactly onto that frame. You can just eyeball it, so you make sure you've got enough of a gap either side. It's all equal all the way around, and pop it through. It doesn't matter if it's not 100%, but I'll hold that up so you can see. Let's put that to one side. So we've got that lovely stitch detail on the inside and the out there. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise one of them up, okay? I've also used the double debossed, not double debossed, deboss double stitch squares, oh, for heaven's sake. And this is Midnight Blue. So this is one of the luster cards. And the actual stitching on these are two different sizes of stitch. So you've got like a long stitch and then like a single mini stitch, if you like, going all the way around the edge. It's really detailed. I don't think the camera's coping with that very well. And that's going to be my mat, like so, like that. So let's get that stuck down first with a bit of Sentimentally Yours glue. You don't need much. You could raise it if you wanted to, but I'm going to just give that card a bit more weight by gluing it flat. Everything underneath there, maybe. Let's see if I can get this straight. Let me hold it up, see. That's pretty straight. Give it a press on the back. Okay, so that's that. So I'm not going to put my front layer on yet, because what I need to do is just look at my background layers. This is from one of the plain sheets that you've got in the paper pack. I say plain, it's not really plain. And so what I've done is I've picked one of the bigger squares of your deboss double stitch squares, got that right, and cut that out. Let's see which one it is. I don't think it's the biggest one, just so you know, because I know you'll ask me. I think it's the biggest but one. Oh no, it is the biggest one. So I have gone for the biggest one. And then I've missed a couple, and I've cut that one as well. So not because I want a frame, but because I don't want to waste that paper that's in the centre. So obviously you can see it's a really nice frame if you want it that way. But I don't want to waste my wonderful papers, because at the moment I'm only using the one sheet. And I did actually, when I got them, and you may want to do this, I actually took one of each of all the sheets out, and I cut everything out. Well, virtually everything. There's some of the smaller embellishments that I haven't cut out yet, because I felt I wouldn't lose them so much if I kept them intact. You can put them in bags, obviously, and I've done that on some of the kits. So all of my kits I've done the same thing with. Some of them I haven't finished cutting out because there's so many embellishments. And then they're good to go. Whenever you want to make something, they're good to go, aren't they? Which makes life a lot easier. So we're going to pop this frame on another mat of your Midnight Blue. See that I've got that straight. You've got a little bit of time to move. But once you've left it and started chatting about something else, it's stuck. Okay, so there's a couple of layers. So you can see now that what we've got is we've got those layers there like so. But what I also want to do is take my Graceful Deep Edges, which are from last year sometime, and you've got a set of 3 dies, and you will find everything, by the way, on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. The new products go live at midnight on the 5th of March. That's in the evening. And you'll also find them on honeypotcrafts.co.uk as well. So this is the Graceful Deep Edges, a set of 3 dies. And I've just taken one of the borders from the paper pack, and I've taken a piece of Midnight Blue and I've cut one of the borders, which is this one here. And then I've popped that on the one side to see where I want to cut the other border as well. It's just shy of 8 inches along, that one. And so let's stick this down. There's a lot of sticking at the moment. I don't mind sticking. Hopefully you don't mind watching sticking. I felt it was important not to have everything stuck down so that you can see the process. You can always fast forward if you don't want to watch me sticking. So we'll pop that right against the edge. Ooh. Gently. Normally I'd stand up to look to see whether I'm straight. I reckon that's straight. So just give that a second or two to bind, and then we're going to chop that edge off there. And then that is going to go, I can't decide whether to put it on the top. In fact, yes, I think that's where it's going to go. It's going to go on the top, and then we're going to put that over the top of that, I think. Don't know yet. So while we're waiting for that, the border to bind, we've got this topper here, and I thought we'd build a collage on this. So taking that other topper, the square one, and also taking the sentiment, you can create your own image. So obviously we could have it that way up, and I can put it that way, or we can have it this way up and I can put it that way. I think I'm going to go that way. So if you actually glue them flat and you don't put any mats and layers on, then it's going to look like the paper is just, you've just created your own collaged paper. So all the pieces that Phil's created for you, he could have done this for you. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I mean, I have got some more of the Midnight Blue here, because I thought that if I wanted to, I could actually glue that on there like that and then give it a matte and layer. But I don't know if I want to. So, and I will, and I have got videos, and I know that I'm going to do, and I know that Phil's done matting and layering on all of his layers. So I think this time what we'll do is we'll do that. We'll keep it different because we can, and we will actually stick it down on an angle like that, just as if this was actually a collage piece itself. And I think that's quite interesting to actually do that. You could, of course, add some stamping in the background if you wanted to. Use some of your notebook botanicals, your postmark paraphernalia would work with it. You could also add some of your texture stamps. And we could actually add some dies as well. But I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to do that jaunty angle, like so. See, to the naked eye, people will think that this is part of the paper rather than layers that you've created. Obviously it's not completely flat because the paper's quite thick paper or card. Put the lid on that. And let's have the just for you. Not going quite up to the stitch because I like to see the stitch. You could have it coming out completely out if you wanted to. So there's our collage piece. So it looks like it's something that Phil's created for us. And obviously he's put the little sort of beaded pieces in the corner. And let's have a look at our border. And snip this down. There we go. Okay, so let's start doing some layering now. Oh, in fact, let's look at the honeycomb die first. So I'm dithering around. I'm not sure what colour I want to use of the honeycomb die. So I've cut it out of the sort of plain, this one. I've cut it out of that. And also out of the blue sort of plain background as well. So I'm not sure where we're going with this. I'm thinking that I might want to have the blue. That will then go like that, just poking out of the edges. Not that much though. I'm going to tear it rather than this one. So I might keep that one for another project. So I think that's what we'll do. And don't forget as well that you can actually keep all the little bits. So I've kept all my little bits that have come out, and you could actually create your own collage, because if you, I mean, it'd be a labour of love. You know, when I've done those kind of patchwork pieces. Tangent. So you could take. It's easier if you did, if you had like a piece of double-sided sheet, as long as you're confident about where you're putting them. So because they're hexagons, you can actually start creating your own pattern. They're going to fit. Not if they bounce. Obviously they'd have a bit of glue on the back. So you can see that they're going to fit together to make your own background. And obviously you can use them to paper piece as well. So there's lots you can do. Don't throw away the little bits from your hexagon die, your honeycomb die, because it's really useful. Right, so let's get this on here first. So let's tear this. Place cut. Hope it's not coming for me. Definitely isn't. Right, so we do this side here as well. We'll keep that for another project. That's going to go down there. So let's glue that now. Just scribble a bit of glue onto your craft sheet. And we'll pick them up. You only really need to make sure that these edges have got glue on them, because the rest is going to get anchored by your next layer. It's a bit wonky, isn't it? Okay. And dip that in the glue. I mean, the glue dries clear and matte, so you don't need to worry about that too much. So, give that a spritz and a tidy up. So let's put this onto our card blank. And this is quite a big one, so you could actually drop it down a little bit and make it into an 8 by 8. But I would measure this for you. I think it's 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. It's definitely no bigger than that because it's a square. So you could actually put it on an 8 by 8 card blank. And we'll do that in, let's do it in 2mm. This is the woodware foam tape that I'm using. As I've said before, the new products will be available or are available on both my website, which is juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and also on the Honeypot Crafts website from midnight on Sunday the 5th of March. There is actually a 10% discount on everything that was on the Sentimentally Yours 10th birthday event on Create and Craft on my website. So once again, that's juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and you can get 10% discount by entering code yours10 in the discount code box at checkout, and that discount is available from the 3rd of March till midnight on the 9th of March. I need to stand up to see what I'm doing here. Not happy with that. Not even. That looks pretty even. I'll have that. And then we're going to pop this one on, and this one's going to go on with 1mm foam tape because I don't want this as high as we've got our border going across. Remember to, when you do your foam tape, to always have something going across the middle, because you don't want a saggy middle. So again, this is Midnight Blue Luster card. I don't think I have any of that, but you can get all the card from Honeypot Crafts. I have cut back on the card a little bit because I find it difficult to send out when, say somebody orders a texture medium and a pack of card, and I don't want the card to get damaged, so I'd rather you bought the card from Honeypot Crafts. I do have some watercolour card though in stock because I always use that myself. Right, so let's pop this on here. Remember we gutted that, the centre, and that looks evenish to me, straightish as well. Okay, so now we're going to go to our border, and our border is going to go across here like so, and I'm not going to trim it. I'm going to have it so that it goes all the way across and it touches that mat that's in Midnight Blue. So it is an 8-inch border. So I'm going to glue that flat, except I'm going to put a little bit of foam tape just on the edges so it doesn't kind of fall off. What did I do with that? Oh, I used it, didn't I? That's why. Another one. And do remember that if you're on Facebook, to ask to join the Crafting with Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours Facebook page. It's a lovely Facebook group rather. It's a lovely group. You'll see sneak peeks in there. There's Freebie Friday that Phil does. There's sometimes exclusive offers for members of the group on there. So it's definitely, it's a really nice group. You get to see sneak peeks early from the design team, and it's definitely worth joining that. And we love to see your makes as well. Let's peel those off. across the middle-ish. Straight against the edge. I mean, if you wanted to, because we're going to lose this border here, what we could have done is actually remove that. But you just have to remember that if you got too much, then when you come to put this layer on, you've got to build it up a little bit more, because there's more depth here than where you've gutted it. So this is going to be raised up here now. So as you can see how it's going to look. Get in there. So it's very, very simple. You know, you really don't have to do an incredible amount with this. Let's do one on this as well. I'm hoping that the depth of the border doesn't affect my topper. We'll soon find out, won't we? There is something new to learn all the time, even when you make a mistake. So obviously we're going to just nestle this back in from whence it came. Okay, looks good. Happy with that. I want to stamp a sentiment too, because we've got Just For You, but I've cut one of these out from the paper creative pack as well, and I thought we'd do a sentiment from the Tray Chic Essential Sentiments. Which was also on the show, I believe. And we can have Happy Birthday, which just about fits. Best wishes, love and kisses. Love you to both of you. Sent with love is a bit big. I think we just go for the always useful Happy Birthday, because it means that if you make these sorts of cards, you know, you can have them in your stash all ready to go straight away. Let's just double check it definitely fits. It definitely fits, it does. And I'm going to stamp this with Twilight Versifying Clair. No, that's Medieval Blue. I was going to go Twilight, but let's go Medieval Blue. In stock on my website. And I have got reinkers for all of the colours of Versifying Clair now. Except for Nocturne, because I couldn't get any more Nocturne, unfortunately. But I do have all the colours, which I haven't been able to get before at all. So, of course, I've got a set of them for me now, which is really handy. So reinkers mean that you don't have to keep on replacing your ink pad, because you just squiggle the reinker over the top, and you'll be able to use the reinker lots and lots of times. You don't put the whole reinker onto your pad, because that would be a waste. Okay. There we go. Happy Birthday. That is a really deep blue, so that's actually better than Medieval, than a Twilight actually. See, I've got a laminate floor now in my craft room, so I can slide around all over the place. I quite like it. Right, so there's our sentiment already, and I haven't cut that out yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to. That will go there, like that. Now for the flowers and leaves, what we've got is I've taken this set here. So this is your Pretty Petals Cherish Blooms, and for the first time with this one and the other two Pretty Petals, Phil's done full petals and he's done outlines as well. So solids and, what's he called them? Open and solids, he's called them. So for your open petal, your solid petals, and this is out of that paper that I showed you at the beginning, out of the creative pack. They're a flower like you'd expect to see a flower. Okay, and then for your opens, I think that's the right one, then you've got the opens. So obviously you can use that one on its own or that one on its own. You can use these together, so you could offset them if you wanted to. Just hold that up for you to show you. So if you offset them, you've got that kind of look, or you can actually pop them right on top of each other and you've got that sort of look, which is rather lovely. And as Phil said, you can fill in the wells with glossy accents if you want to, or glitter. So put some glue in and put some glitter in. Then you would need to actually glue the whole thing, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, here's my other one, I'm just going to put glue in the centre, because depending on what you're going to do, I only want to have the outline on top. I don't want to fill it in at all. So in that case, you don't need to go through the effort of putting glue all the way around. You can just pop it in the centre, line them up, give it a press and set it aside to dry. And the same with this one. Pop it in the centre. You will find that because they're so delicate, because they're so fine down here, you might find that some of them are offset slightly, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So when you come to shape them, all I've done with these is just put my finger underneath and I've just pushed them like that. That's all I've done. You see some of these are offset a little bit, it doesn't matter. If you're bugged by it, then just put glue all over. But because I'm using luster card, I didn't want to do that. So we could have them like that. You could do a second one, which I have done, but I'm kind of faffing around, not really sure what I want to do. So we've got a second one. So remember the border, that the background paper that I've used had a border at the bottom and on the opposite corner as well. So I've actually used both of those corners to cut my 6 flowers out. So if you wanted to, what you could do is then offset and pop that one in there like that to make a really full flower. Or you've got the single flowers like that. Now these are quite full flowers anyway, so to be honest, for frugality, is that a word? I don't know, but I'm making it one. I'm going to only use the one layer. I'm not going to use 2, and then I've got 3 flowers that I can use on another project. So we're not doing that. We're just going to shape these. Give these a little bit of a... Do be careful, because like I say, that area of card and paper that's touching the centre is very narrow, and you don't want to be too rough with it. Just giving it a bit of shape. So okay. So what I've also done is taken the smallest open die, I think, yes, open die, no, solid, open. Oh, where is it? Here it is. This little one here, this is one of the open petals. It's the smallest one, and this is from the Darling Blooms, and I'm using that instead of a stamen. I did cut stamens out, and I'll show you the difference. This is from, I think it's from Stamens too, let me tell you. I think it's from Stamens too. There's no label on my die set because I had a previous one. So this is out of the plain yellow again. And this is the smallest of the open petals. I've also used the next size up. Have I? Yes, the next size up, which is here, for the larger one. And I'm going to stick those in the centre as a stamen because I think they look rather nice. Let me show you. I think that looks rather nice. Or if we were using stamens, which I'm not going to, that would also fit, you know. So things that you've got in your stash are also going to fit. And don't forget, you've got lots of flowers in your stash from Phil, or you probably have. And so mix and match those with these as well, and you're going to get totally different looks. So we're not using stamens this time. We are going to use the, what do you call it? We're going to use the flower. So I'm just casting around looking for my moulding mat. There it is. I need my embossing tool. Sorry. It wouldn't be one of my videos without banging into the camera, would it? I've done so well not banging into the camera up till now. There we go. And let's just give that, just like we would do the stain, let's give that a little bit of a lift. Like that. And then we'll pop those into the centres of the flowers. The biggest one is going in here. It will flatten out a little bit when we add the gem in the centre. Okay, there's our flowers. So the leaves that we've got the lovely leaves as well, and they're in a similar kind of fashion. So in that they've got an open and a solid leaf as well, and you've got your 3 leaves, you've got your 2 leaves, and you've got your single leaves, and you've got an innie and outie of all of those. And so I've cut those out of white. There's not a lot of white actually on all my toppers and things, but I've obviously got white on my actual card blank, so I figured I'd get away with that. But again, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with this, so I just thought I'd cut everything out and see. So this is from the plain background paper from your creative pack. So if you wanted to add your leaves on top, you could do that, and you could actually glue them in place, or you could leave them quite free to kind of move and do what they want to do, or you could just use those on their own or these on their own, whatever you want. So we'll decide that when we actually come to put them on the card. Let's see if I've got the wrong coloured gems. Let me just pause for a moment. Okay, so I've located my gems. Now, I'm not sure what these are called because mine haven't got a label on them, but they're a lovely pale blue, so I thought that they would match quite nicely with our papers. So we're going to have one of those in the centre. I think I might put the small. Should we go for those? Yeah, we go for the big ones. So we want 3 of those. Pickup tool. You'd think I'd find my pickup tool as well while I'm at it, wouldn't you? No, of course not. What am I like? There they are. Right, so these are your pickup tools. These have got like a wax tip on them. So these are ideal for picking up your gems and your pearls. And also for if you're doing the paper piecing, so if you were picking up your little hexagons or hearts, then you can absolutely pick those up as well, and it makes life a lot easier. A bit of glue in the centre. So I tend to just manipulate it a little bit in my fingers, especially if you know, because the weather's been quite cold and you want to warm them up. Don't put them next to your radiator or in a sunny window, because they will melt because they're wax. I'm going to pop that in the centre, then I'm going to press down with my finger just to make sure it's nice and adhered. It's just for you to pick up. I know Phil uses his tweezers to press down. Like so. Okay, so there's our flowers. Oh, they're pretty. Okay, so we keep the gems out because we might add some, well, we will be adding some more gems for definite. Let's grab our card again. So I'm thinking that the flowers are going to go perhaps on this side here. I've only done 3. And then we're going to have some leaves coming in as well. Thinking I'm quite like that, maybe. Or we can have them, see, this is the thing about having a camera. You can just change where you have things. So I can have them down like that. Yeah, I like that. Faff. Faff, faff, faff. Maybe I should have some more. I don't think it's enough flowers, do you? Let's have a look. So we've got these other ones, haven't we? You remember I was being frugal. But we've got no stamens for these at the moment. Do I want more? No, I don't actually want more. Right, let's stick them down and then bring in the leaves. That's what we'll do, because the leaves will make all the difference. Let's pop that one here, like that. And have that one like that. If you're unsure when you're doing your cards and your layouts, quite a handy thing to do is to take a photograph, lay it all out where you want it, and just take a photograph, and then that will tell you whether you like it or not. And you can faff around to your heart's content. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in that there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to secure it just on this junction here. Maybe a little bit down the stem. I'm not going to secure it on the actual leaves themselves. If you can hear a funny noise, it's probably my cat snoring. Because he does snore, bless him. Bless him. Right, so that's that one. Let's do the other, because you've got a righty and a lefty of all of them. Let's put a little bit of glue on that junction there as well. And bring in this leaf here. So pretty. So lovely. That's why they're called lovely leaves. I think by not actually gluing them down, it gives a little bit more movement. I quite like that. It does look really nice actually if you cut them out in white in both the ins and the outs, and then pop them on top of one another. They do look really nice like that. Right, so I don't want all this stem because I don't use glue gel. Let's see, let's pop. Don't want that. Just pop that like so. And then we'll nip that off as well. This is always the bit that takes the longest, the faffy bits. It's the finishing touches that makes it all special. Like that. And then we've got our twos. That's the wrong way, not that one. And that is that one. Where's the other two? There it is. So we're going to do exactly the same here. Pop your junctions in. And here. Let's watch them again. I can hear him. Can you hear him snoring? He's so sweet. While we're getting gluey, let's just do the singles because I think we're going to use all of them. So we've got your single solids and outers. Let's just do the base of that. So if you wanted to glue the whole thing, do that scribble technique and just dip your open leaves into that. Press. And the white is the pure white Sentimentally Yours card. Right, let's figure out where we want this. It's a leaf going everywhere, so I think we'll probably pop one of these under there. Ooh. I mean, you can definitely add in some of your smaller flowers if you wanted to, the tiny ones. Okay, like that. Remember to clean your scissors after you've got glue on them. You don't want to glue up your scissors. Let's have another pair perhaps down there. How does that look? Oh, that's all right. And perhaps bring in, do we want a single down there like that? Yeah, that works. Very handy having a camera. And the last one. Let's put one just coming out of that petal there. Okay. Then we've still got to do pop our happy birthday on. So I think we'll pop this onto a bit of 1mm found tape. And so we don't have saggy label. Let's just pop a little bit in there, and then we're going to pop a pearl in the eyelet hole of it, so that we can give that, so we don't have to cut that out. Let's pop that like so. So we've just had a few gems here and there, I think, so we definitely want one here in the centre there, and let's have one in each corner here. Oops, that's going to be not quite where I wanted it. Because we've got like faux gems here as well from the actual topper itself. So we want big ones again. So in the gems, you can only get the gems from Honeypot Crafts. You get 5mm and 8mm. There's no 3mm because that would be too small. Because they're multifaceted. It's a lot easier to pick up the gems with the pickup tool. It's an invaluable tool. I don't know what we did before without it, really, to be honest. So I think I'm happy with that. I think we're all done. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Watch out for the, there's another video that I'll be doing with the rose garden. Watch out for that one whenever that appears. And thank you so much for watching. Do remember that you can buy the products on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and if you enter yours 10 in the discount code box at checkout between the 3rd of March and midnight on the 9th of March, then you'll get 10% discount off of all the products that were on the 10th birthday shows on Create and Craft. You can also purchase the products from Sentimentally Yours on their honeypotcrafts.co.uk website. And once again, thank you for watching.